1,000 years ago, Duskfall emerged, a settlement with naught but hope and vision for its future. Its people found creatures amongst the void sea, a black sea full of beasts and horrors. Brave city dwellers ventured out on whim and adventure and found themselves colossal creatures which they in turn harvested for their viscera, siphoning it off into great refineries, funneling it into the very fuel that powers Duskfall and its neighboring islands, making all involved rich and powerful. At the height of this power stands the Leviathan hunters, those who are brave or foolish enough to make this endeavor to harvest the god's own flesh, to listen and sing the Leviathan song. Bosh.
So yeah, we're not Leviathan hunters though, Mikey. We are their pets.
So, last time, I'm sure you can remember, we boarded the ship. We took a little trip into our crew quarters. We had Stavril kind of give us a bellowing speech, rousing the crew for what lies ahead. You were assigned by Wester Sly, the ship's head steward, to then provide a excellent fine dining experience with entertainment for the officers of the ship, who you all kind of met and introduced yourselves to one by one.
Mm-hmm.
My Crowe specifically trying to get into Wester Sly's pocket, and then Tiet Cahn paying attention to Master Cross Knox.
Good old Nogsy.
Nogsy boy. They loved your experience that you provided. There was meat sprinkled with trance powder. There was magic cards played or playing cards played by Myre Crowe. You had Jangles pouring the carafe of wine very exotically, swinging through the chandelier, and providing comedy at the end of the night, which was awful. Even though Dalmore much enjoyed it because he thought the shit comedy was part of the joke, and then that followed up by his kind of acrobatics. So they all had a lovely evening, and you were told by Perkins that you all did very well, and it was sent on your way. Since then, it's been about 3 days have passed. So I imagine you're just doing normal duties on the ship, helping out here and there, kind of, doing what needs doing, kind of acting as the sailors do. And in that time, one fuel box has been ticked off. So I'll cross that out.
What's that, sorry?
So the ship's fuel gets expended as we're sailing. So,
and is that something can we see that visually? Didn't we have the whole?
Yeah. So look at the
oh, here we go. Is it
the big old diagram I've got in front of us. We got the expended fuel on the left. We've got 2 tanks of fuel. I can't
see that. I can only see the words.
Hey.
You have to drag the players across tabs.
Oh, how do I do that?
There should be like a little icon to say where the players are.
Hello.
Hello.
There we go. All right, I thought you could see this last time. My bad. But here you are.
No.
This is the ship,
Nice.
the ship screen.
Ship shape.
Right.
Yeah. So you see on the left we've got expended fuel.
What's the
Tank
name?
1 has.
What's the name of our ship?
It is She Who Dances on the Stars.
Of course.
But
yes.
I couldn't figure out really how properly to put text on this screen. It was a bit janky when I was trying it. So I guess that's just an R20 thing. So we also have expended 1 box of supplies as well. The ship's been sailing in pretty steady waters, fair winds, so there's not been much supply or fuel usage. Just 1 of each. If the weather gets a bit more dire, that might increase from time to time. But yeah.
Is there a route that we're going, or are we just going straight out into the ocean?
Straight out. Basically, there's because the Leviathans are hunted often, or somewhat regularly. So where they're kind of like hunting grounds, they're pretty known. So the Leviathan ships will just go out to their kind of hunting grounds where they know the Leviathans are kind of based, and they'll kind of like then kind of divine is the term I'm using. Because this ship especially, the augur on this ship, the Master Augur, is of Taikarosi heritage. So she's very much more of a traditionalist, kind of like using the rituals and arcane kind of ways to divine and find the Leviathan, rather than the traditional or the more newer Akarosi fancy technical instruments and all this. So yeah, as we kind of get closer and closer, she's going to start kind of auguring to find the Leviathan and find sign of the Leviathan.
Okay.
Yes. Shall I
Yeah.
wait for Milo to get back for the first duty, or shall we just crack on?
Yeah, maybe crack on. I don't know how long it's going to be.
Okay. So. It's quite a good one. So you're in your quarters, as you were last time. Probably coming to the evening, even though it's always night and duskful. It's kind of coming 7, 8-ish p.m., whatever. And you have a knock on the door, and it's your favourite. Oh, excuse me, sirs. Oh, excuse me, sirs. May I interrupt you, gentlemen? And ma'am? He kind of lets himself in.
And we're all kind of in our big kind of hovel type thing.
Yeah, your little bunks, your little crew
bunk,
quarters.
Yeah, nice,
You've got your
nice.
2 little double bunks on the sides. I'm imagining maybe like a little porthole on the other end, just where you can see the stars in the Black Sea out beyond it.
Yeah, we're sat in our like onesies, or like those duvets that you have arms in, maybe.
Yes, because you'd have those for sure.
Yep.
Right.
It's on my character sheet.
Myre Crowe with his kind of moist duvet from his secreting hands.
The wet hands coming out of the armholes.
You're basically like you flooded your own crew quarters with the amount of moisture you're producing. Gross. Perkins continues. Yes, sirs. Master Butcher, Cross Nogs, he requests your attention and your company right away. He's got a duty for you. It must be dealt with very quickly, no delay.
And it's night time, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like Tiet's pretty. She's up at night. And sorry, who wants the help? Sorry, who needs the help? Who needs help?
Butcher.
Hey?
The butcher. Well, she leaps from her perch in the corner. Like,
Butcher Nogs, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that fine, disgusting fellow. He needs our help. Oh, the rest all rousing over there. Jangles is fast asleep, of course, so she just leaves him. She's pretty happy. He's not going to bother her for a bit.
Little hammock, yeah.
I could play Jangles a bit, or just describe what you're saying in the narrative.
Leave him sleeping. Again, Tiet's not super happy. There's little comical monkeys following him around.
Well, he was asking for electroplasm, so maybe he's.
I was going to exactly say that, yeah.
He's used his kind of stores for the time, and he's kind of like hibernating almost to keep the reserves.
That makes sense.
What they are.
Like those Dysons where you kind of have to dock it to charge it.
It's like a Roomba.
Yeah, and it kind of it's going through its self-cleaning cycle.
Yeah, perfect.
God.
Myre's
going to come out with a metal monkey now. With a French-made dress.
Myre says, is it mandatory for all of us to attend the butcher? I feel as though some of us are more interested than others.
Are you talking about the monkey, sir?
actually, I was referring to myself, but also, yes, the monkey is not feeling very well. Maybe one of us should look after him.
Well, it's a very important duty, sir. I'd imagine you'd need all of you. But if the monkey can stay behind, he looks a bit down in his luck. He looks a bit tired there. He's docked,
Very
I can
well.
see. Not in that way.
I could use your enthusiasm, Myre. It's hard for me to pretend to care about these fools, but I must put on a show.
You say fools.
Fools.
Oh,
Don't suffer fools lightly, but your
Which fools?
enthusiasm, eager. Not you, Perkins. You're delicious. I mean, delightful.
I think he blushes. Oh.
I could, of course, be enthusiastic about this task for you, Miss Cahn, but if I be may be so bold to offer you some advice that my dear father gave to me when I was a wee lad, growing up in Duskvale, of course. And he
Was it
told,
to keep your stories short?
not quite, Miss Cahn, not quite that, but he said to me, my Crowe, now you be humble. You grow up and you be humble, lad. Your superiors, they want to feel superior, so you better be humble and let them do so, and then maybe one day you'll be humbling them.
I just got so bored, so I'm sorry I fell asleep. Please, just go.
Oh, it's
I'm
the MCU
horrified
characters
at
here.
how well you do this character. It's just... It's beautiful.
So, have you seen the trailer for the Thunderbolts?
Oh yes,
I've only
that's right.
seen the poster. I've not actually watched the trailer.
I feel like the Soviet Captain America dad is such a Mikey character in waiting.
Yes.
I imagine I get his character from. I imagine it's pretty similar to what it was in Black Widow, and yeah that feels right.
And it's like, don't worry, this car is bulletproof. And then they get shot. And he's like, I said little bit bulletproof. Mostly bulletproof.
I did my Russian back in the first.
You did,
First
and it was
campaign.
also a campaign where I was also going to be Russian, and then you started speaking, and I was like,
Yeah.
I caught a little bit of what you were saying because I sort of had one headphone sort of on, but something about helping the butcher.
Yeah,
it's pretty much it.
Sorry for the interruption at the most inopportune time.
Jangles is recharging in a hammock. We're just going to help the butcher.
Yes, the butcher's requested your assistance. His butchery room, I imagine. So you make your way down, following Perkins through the, the iron maze of corridors and stairs of the great Leviathan vessel you're working in, and you make your way to the butchery. You can you go in, you kind of see a long, tall ceiling room. Adorning the walls are plenty of hooks, facing upward, prepared for, carcasses and all odd job bits of meat. And you see down near the end of the room, you got Butcher Noggs. You see him, and he's a big boy. He's a stout boy. He's got his sparkcraft tubes connecting from his back over his elbows into his lungs, keeping his lungs going. He's got his tick-tock of his bionic heart. You can hear his sparkcraft heart keeping him alive. And from his belt hangs a giant butcher's knife, which you can only assume is carved from that of a Leviathan tooth. As you approach, he kind of turns to you and he's like, "Oh yes, at last. The help I requested. I've got a duty for you, if you'd be so inclined." It needs to be kept on the down low, though. What we got is there's been word of a few from the crewmen. A few of the crew have been having nightmares and dreams. I need you to go see them. We've taken them, tied them up, and put them in the back room behind me. I need you to go interrogate them. They're lost their minds, but what they do say might be of importance for our hunt. So I want you to go and extract this information, useful or not, and come back to me with what you find. Because it might be important, it might be not. And what you do with them after that, I don't really care. Chuck them in the fuel tank for all I care. Chuck them in the Viscera tank.
Are we actually in the butcher? Are we in the butcher's kitchen
you're
now?
in his
Nice.
You're in his kitchen, in his great meat storage hall.
Delicious.
Certainly hope we don't have any nightmares on this ship. Seems to be quite a perilous result if you have a bad turn in the night. Chucking them overboard, is it? After having a chat? Is that essential?
Whatever you think's necessary at the time. Should they prove to be dangerous, insane, or otherwise, I think you should deal with them appropriately.
Is this something that we would know as characters, that is something that happens, or is this like completely out of nowhere? Like we already had our basic training.
You've had your basic training, but does your training does it include like an encyclopedic knowledge of
probably not.
Leviathan hunts?
I doubt this is in the primer.
Yeah, I think
and you may be killed.
I think as the hunt goes on, the augur and the butcher can kind of figure out, use through these signs and
tuning and stuff,
like evidence you pick up along the way, along the hunt, to see what Leviathan it is. Because there's loads of Leviathans that are known, and they can kind of work out which Leviathan it is that you're closest to by all these little kind of things along the way. So it's probably common knowledge that a few Leviathans can kind of have this kind of influence amongst the men.
See, so we're trying to work out details on the Leviathan from what they've seen in their dreams.
Exactly.
Ooh.
We'll have a look at this for you, butcher. But when we've sorted this, as we will, I would request a place in your crew on the cooking staff. I've got a keen eye for working with viscera and extracting ectoplasm to keep this ship running. Do we have a deal?
We'll come to that when you've got my answers.
If I might ask, is there anything in particular that you're expecting from these answers?
Well, in previous times, it's been a mix of, as I said before, madness, ravens, and the like. Most of it hogwash, most of it rubbish. But there might be details there, similar, common threads amongst the nightmares that might pull some resemblance. You may draw a conclusion from. Something that might aid our hunt.
Understood. The brief is vague, but we'll have a go.
And we'll discuss the job offer when we're back. Right, butcher?
What was your name again?
Tiet Cahn.
Yes, Mrs. Cahn. We'll have your job interview and appraisal after this. If you really wish to work in the muck.
Gladly.
I think he lets out a smirk at that. Gladly.
Gladly. So they're tied up in the back of the butcher's yard, or further away the ship.
So there's like a large, heavy iron door at the back, leading
Got a
onto
big-
a kind of dark
Oh,
room.
I would believe they're just general people from the ship, or they were working in the kitchen.
No, yeah, so they're just like, people who've been across the ship, not necessarily together, but
Sure.
they're just like, working throughout the ship, but they've all got these nightmares. And whether they report themselves to the chain of command or, their other crewmen have noticed this and then, ratted on them. Either way, they're all locked up there. So in the current room you're in, there's as well as like these big, fuel tanks, but these empty fuel tanks for storage. There's like lots of little barrels and boxes of all different shapes and sizes, and maybe even like little spirit bottles as well, with spirits in and whatnot. But yeah, so you make your way down the to the back room. There's like two crewmen outside, kind of keeping guard. And they kind of nod to you after hearing your conversation with the butcher, and they open the doors, and with quite a large, the creak, they kind of open, and in that room there's 3 blokes sat in chairs, just simple wooden chairs with a single light, a single floodlight over them, and they're tied up. They've got kind of like gags on. They're bound up by their legs and arms and feet, and one's kind of like shaking, kind of ferally.
Shaking ferally.
Like a well, yeah.
Like a ferret.
Yeah.
Is one of them Tiet kind of holds up her hand to kind of stop the other riffraff from getting any closer, and is any one? So one of them you said particularly like affected or seeming to be in distress, as it were.
Yeah, he's like visually shaking and like
making...
trying to get out of his confines.
Okay. Well, I'm going to use my ability called Arcane Sight to sense beyond human limits and hear a subject's true thoughts or feelings. So
wow.
She kind of puts up a hand and kind of closes the eyes and just starts to try and connect through the arcane spirit fields to try and go beyond this kind of madness he's clearly suffering, and try and see beyond all that and try and get a sense of what is he thinking? What is he actually afraid of? What are they feeling really like beyond?
So do you just sense what he's feeling or what he's thinking, or how does it work?
Specifically hear a subject's true thoughts or feelings. So I guess you can choose. You want to kind of let me hear his actual feelings or what he's thinking, which kind of says one or the other, but kind of whatever you think is more pertinent. But I'm trying to get what they're. I can see he's feeling pretty distressed. I kind of want to hear the thoughts, like what is scaring and what is like making them so crazed.
Okay, well, I think straight away you're almost deafened, and just you two, Cahn, as you hear this retching screaming, really screaming in agony. And that's all you hear for like the next 10 seconds or so. Do you continue?
She bears with it. She's strong. She's got a strong soul. They can see her kind of wincing, but she's staying focused.
I think you hear him break his screaming, and he just shouts, "The bones! The bones!" and then continues screaming in.
The bones?
The bones. I kind of thought it'd better to hear that rather than actually have it out loud anyway, so it seemed like, while restrained, it was probably better to do that. She kind of relays a very cryptic message to them, kind of basically implying, I don't think we need to ungag this one, but he seems to be terrified of some kind of bone creature or bone ritual. Hard to tell. Perhaps.
You don't think we should learn more than that?
Not from this one. Maybe one of the other, slightly less.
I don't think the butcher's going to be that impressed if we tell him that they dreamed of bones.
The butcher, he might quite like that. It's kind of his area.
Ah, yes, bones. Yes, I know exactly what that is.
She goes and takes the gag off one of the least distressed, or kind of most calm looking one, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of not very kindly, but just kind of give him a shove and says, "What's going on? Tell us of your nightmares."
Oh well, I've not had any nightmares, Mum. I've had the sweetest dreams. The sweetest dreams.
What were they made of?
I was dreaming of what they made of.
They're made of
sponge cake, Victoria sponge. He goes on. All I could see was when I was a boy. I was with my father down by the dock. We were catching squid in our nets. Many squids. We'd throw out the first catch, 2 or 3. We throw out the second, as many as the eyes can see. It was a happy time, sir. Mum, sorry. It was a happy time in my youth.
I think they use interchange with any gender, don't they, in some property, but I can't remember which.
I wouldn't worry.
Is it Warhammer, or is that too woke for Warhammer?
Warhammer 4 Spheres works.
Depends when there's a military setting. Then you get Sirs. Yeah, that happens quite a lot. But
she looks a bit bemused at this, not really sure what to say. Supposed to be hunting nightmares, and he seems very chill.
Door number 3.
Yeah. Talks to the third one. Let's talk to him as well. She re-gags the second one just in case.
He looks quite glum and quite content. He's quite content. Kind of too calm. The one you just spoke to looks very serene. So the third one.
Yes.
The third one.
Yep. Same again. Gag. Tell us of your nightmares. No beat around the bush.
Hello. I was trying to come up with 3 different accents at the spot. It's hard, okay?
Cockney.
Hello? Yeah, well, they're all like Akarosi crewmen. What do you want from me? I'm just thinking of the Dishonored NPCs at this point.
Sure.
Yeah. The void sea, the endless black, the endless obsidian sea. I was swimming in it for days on end. It couldn't make head or tail of it, sir, but I was swimming in it for days until I got very tired, till I couldn't swim no more. And I sank into the dark pitches of it. I was swimming, sir.
She kind of lacks on this because this is how Tiet Cahn died, was drowning in the seas of the docks. She tries to kind of intuit and kind of connect as much as she can. Says, "That sounds awful. I have experiences too. It's a horrible feeling to drown in endless darkness. Tell me more."
Yeah, that's it. I was drowning. He starts kind of choking at that point, as if he was actually drowning. And that just breaks him off. Do you do anything?
She's not fussed.
Okay, so he...
Wait, he starts to choke.
Yeah, there's my deck.
Phinneas steps forward with his slumber essence and administers him like a not a full dosage, but a small, like a part dosage, in the hope that it will soothe his current traumatic state.
What does
drugs do I have?
What does a slumber essence do again?
It's basically sleeping drug. It's the specific wording.
Okay.
But it's basically a sleep potion.
And how do you apply it to him?
It's a vial of an essence, so I suppose he has a little vial, and he tries to step forward and pour some into his mouth, and says, "There, sir. That should calm you down a little bit. It's just a dream."
Right.
He's obviously not a doctor, so he's just
yeah.
Like, this might help.
As he's choking currently, I think it's going to be quite hard to get him to drink that. So I'd think a roll is in order.
Uh-oh.
Does that sound about right?
I think that
so I feel like that's an obstacle.
I think that seems fair. Now, how would Phinneas approach it? Now, he's not a brute force kind of guy. I think this almost doesn't feel like it makes sense. But I sort of want to use his. I sort of want to try and get the guy to be talk him into the focus of trying to take the potion. So give him the basically sway him into like, now come on now, just focus. It's just a dream. You just got to have a little sip of this, and you'll be fine. You can keep it down, I promise you. And go with that. However, if that doesn't feel like it makes sense, then that's fine.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a way you can kind of snap him out of it. I think as he's coughing and choking, I think he kind of, as you're talking to him, kind of like trying to calm him down and relax him, I think his eyes lock onto yours, and he's just transfixed onto you and your words.
Position?
Risky.
Interesting. Effect?
Standard.
Let's rock and roll. Whew.
A success with a consequence.
Uh-oh.
Of risky nature.
Resist it.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the consequence is. Do you need to know? Does that the order in which it happens? I guess you need to know. Tell me what it is.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think so.
What's consequence first? Okay.
Well, you can know, in the terms of, you can say what happens and what the consequence is in any order.
Oh, okay, cool. So I think as his eyes are transfixed onto you and your words, he's kind of listening on the edge of every word. I think he stops choking. The choking kind of calms down into a light cough, and he seems to be able to get a control of himself, and then you're able to kind of feed him the slumber essence, and he kind of like, how strong is it, do you think? Would it put him to sleep, or would it just chill him out?
The description is basically if the dosage will put a person into a deep sleep for an hour.
Okay.
Not an unnatural sleep that like they can't be woken from, but a deep sleep.
Okay.
His goal has been to administer not a full dosage. So somewhere between those two states, he probably would have gone for about half, not really knowing probably what that does.
So I think he's just like basically out now. He's calmed and he's out and he's breathing like normal. But as you pour it down his throat, your vision kind of goes black, Phinneas. Your vision goes black, and all you can see, you can't even picture anything in your mind, for everything is black now that you see. All you see is stars dotted in your mind's eye in the blackness, and now you're drowning in the void sea. You hear a voice, and you can't really make out what it says. But you hear, "Let him swim. Let him live. Let him die. None of it is of consequence." I think you take a stress.
Oh,
Ah! How many?
I'll say 1. Because it's, you managed to put the guy to sleep, and this is pretty creepy. I don't think you've had an experience like this before. This has probably thrown you for 1.
Yeah, I think he'd be quite shaken by this. This is in no way in his realm.
Yeah.
He's not a supernatural guy.
His repertoire of experiences. Yeah. I think you.
I think distressed, he relays this to the party, and then probably stomps out the room, like a little bit, like almost like drunkenly, and probably heads for his room to find something to distract him. Probably frustrated that all of his fine whiskey is gone.
It was always a gift. Yeah, so nice. Phinneas has stormed off. We're leaving Myre, Crowe, and Tiet Cahn in the room with the 3 men strapped to chairs. The 3 deranged men.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he certainly needs a moment.
I don't know about you, Myre, but throwing them overboard seems very appealing right now.
Oh, PCs.
Vampiric PCs, no less.
Suck their blood, then throw them overboard.
Yeah.
No, she's trying to be good. She's trying to be good.
Now I've sort of we can't outvote him. So,
yeah, I think if it also helps the story, we can assume he's gone for some air and isn't gone for too long.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
I mean, that accidentally
joking.
cutting yourself out the story thing. Like, don't want to do that. Just that.
Yeah.
He needs a bit of time. So.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
look.
We'll
So
come back in a moment.
this is what we're going to do. So I think we've got our 3rd mad creature ready. So I think it's going to get close to the thrashing one and just kind of get ready to lay the law of the land down in this. Do they seem like they seem genuinely scared, or like, I know it's hard to say. Do they seem genuinely scared, or like they're actually kind of like something else is kind of what they seem genuinely like rustled up, or do you kind of sense like almost as like
the first one is still kind of like feral. He's still like, like a bull before a bullfight. Like a caged animal, right? Something like that.
I don't know what that is.
Caffeinated up. Being ducked with cattle prods and whatever, wound it up and all this, or just like a caged animal.
Yeah.
Like a caged animal with rabies, almost.
I think Myre, who's kind of been sort of hanging around the door, not really wanting to get close to these people who seem very strange, especially kind of the violently sort of restrained one, and just kind of mutters, I guess, quite softly, but probably just so you can hear Tiet, but not very forcefully at all. But I think he just sort of mutters, I haven't killed anyone in my entire life, Miss Cahn. I don't believe I should be starting now just for some crewmen like ourselves who have had some bad dreams. I'm sure they'll be right as rain in the morning. I've known a few sailors to be acting strange, passed out on the docks of Duskval.
he eyes him up and thinks again. And tries to do a few things. First of all, just kind of like casually walks up to the really thrashing one and kind of lifts. She's got a demon bane charm that kind of puts it close. It's a trinket that kind of, I guess, basically repels demons or kind of like pushes away. Just to see if there's any kind of, just gives it a little, just kind of holds it near, kind of sees any impact on his demeanor. If it kind of seems to push anything away.
Leviathans are actually demons as well, I think. Same.
Hopefully it's not with that wide a range, I'm hoping. I feel like it's going to be quite
Just we never find a Leviathan.
Oh,
You brought
shit,
the
what's
bloody
going wrong?
Who brought the bloody Leviathan repellent?
Oh, it's Demon Bane, mate. Demon Bane.
Extra strong. 1 mile radius.
I think as you do, he does kind of like his kind of like rampant, rapid kind of feral lashing does just go away from you. He's kind of doing it as far away as he can from you.
Interesting.
So he's literally bound in his chair, but trying to like keep away.
My gingerly gets out their spirit bane charm.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Rocky punch.
Sort of
Gingerly as well.
Yeah, seeing the demon bane charm having an effect. It's like, oh, I've got one of those. Maybe we can, the power of Christ compels you, sort of thing on this.
Don't cross the streams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spirit Bane repels
can-
ghost, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's spirit field and demons.
Hmm. Well, let's have a
Tune or
roll.
something.
Yeah, let's have a roll.
Or what? Do you want group action?
Well, it's for you to choose.
Yeah, I'd say I can attune and then maybe get an assist from Tiet Cahn and
Do an assist. I've got no.
maybe some sort of
pips in
greater.
it.
Yeah, maybe some bonus from the Spirit Bane charm.
Yeah, you do the roll because I've got no pips in it, so I'll be less help than anything if we try and do a group action.
I think you have great effect with this one, due to the Spirit Bane and the Demon Bane charms.
What is the position?
I believe it will be risky still.
Can I make it controlled standard? Swap
What,
position
like-
for effect?
Oh,
Drop
you
the
can do it the
effects.
other way as well.
We never do that.
We never do that.
DM's
But-
been eager.
OPDM
One
coming
year
out as a
was
player.
PDM tricks.
Coming in with the rules.
He's cheating.
You
Like
crafty bugger, you
He's
and your
cheating
rules.
he's cheating by using the rules. It's not fair.
What the hell? Can you swap position for effect? I don't. What did I say? It was risky. It was risky.
Is it risky
Great.
great? Is it say
You're-
risky great?
So you're trying to change it to a
Controlled standard, yeah.
controlled standard. Yes, you can.
Nice.
Controlled standard. Yeah.
That's fun.
Now, are you assisting Tiet?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's I've
So-
added in the one bonus die, so there's a success.
Two
with a-
stress for Tiet.
Oh god, I've got that.
Good job. Part of the gemming this game is to make sure
Two
Mikey
stress?
takes
Well, it's
his-
one
Two-
stress.
It's two stress to
Different
assist,
assist,
unless
yeah.
you have the spider ability where you can assist two times for free.
No, I'm pretty sure it's one to assist and 2 for pushing.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
Thanks,
two seems a bit.
OPDM.
I always
Two
get
seemed a
mixed up,
bit
so-
severe for.
That's why we have the backup DM.
I took a stress for my arcane sight ability. Otherwise, I'll just. Everyone know.
So,
No, it is one stress after all. He's right. He's right, you know. He
what are
knows.
you trying to do with your attune roll?
I think we're just trying to see if we can get rid of whatever is causing him to thrash.
Look out, then.
Thrash like
Um,
an angry fish,
Like an angry fish.
like an angry salmon.
Like a salmon on dry land
Yeah,
that a bear's just clawed out of the river.
cocaine salmon. Yeah,
Cocaine salmon.
not
Cocaine salmon. Cocaine bear.
croquet salmon.
Oh. Very
Very
well.
different life.
Mm.
Yes. They probably do have some cocaine salmon on the ship somewhere.
Croquet salmon would be a great outdoors shop in like Cornwall or Pembrokeshire.
It's a good album name as well. For like a jazz, soul, fusion, punk fusion album. Croquet salmon. So, with your successful controlled standard attune successful roll. Tiet's a demon bane, Baird, Myre's spirit bane charm around your neck, or you're gingerly carrying it. As you kind of press it to him, his movements get more kind of rapid, more violent, more rapid, and you do kind of the light above you just goes out. So pitch darkness. Moments pass. You might hear Nogs shouting from behind, "What's going on back there? What are you doing? What are you playing at?" And then the light comes back on, and the gentleman you've just exorcised is calm. For a few moments. Then he starts shaking once more, and his bones from inside his arms start protruding out and growing, from his shoulders, from his knees. At this point, his gag pops, and he's just shouting, "The bones! The bones!" And then kind of passes out in pain.
What, the bones keep growing, or?
To a point where they're like out of his actual skin and protruding out.
Milo's disconnected in horror. You on mute, Mikey?
No, I just had to reconnect me videos. I lost it all.
But yeah, so he's like, he's gonna need medical attention or something.
I assume it was, but he's just passed out. He's not dead, is he?
Yeah, he's bleeding quite a bit, but he's passed out from the pain. he's not dead yet.
Yes.
Seems
Yeah,
like
Carl's
he's gonna be
looking.
doing a lot of Leviathan hunting.
Tiet's looking pretty hungrily at this horrific sight. She's not too phased,
Blood
really.
pouring out. Maybe
Meat on the bone.
Is there anything to do with vampires in which you like sniff blood and you're like, you
Nothing.
get a bit bloodlusty, get a
I
bit
mean, absolutely.
hungry?
I mean, she's.
It's probably one of the weaknesses you can pick, right?
Yeah, I don't want. It's not one of the. What do they call them? They call them the strictures. It's not, but obviously I'm kind of playing it as she's trying to resist. That's why she's kind of here. She's trying to resist this urge to kill. That's why she's kind of trying to get access to all the Leviathan blood and the meat and the viscera to feed off of that instead. But this is a pretty tough moment. In kind of maybe Myre can kind of see almost like I don't know, like the eyes glint, it's kind of almost steam aura of something dark emanate from her as she kind of gazes hungrily, ravenously at this horrible sight. She's kind of fixated.
Myre seeing this and then also seeing the bone protrusion man, who I'm pretty sure I have a Poxwalker model who looks like that. But I think he sort of backs away towards the door, and it's like, "Oh well, I'll just go and check if the butcher thinks that what we've learned is enough. Won't be 2 minutes."
I like to think that it's at this point Phinneas comes back from his breath of fresh air and just bumps into Myre in the corridor. Everything all right there, Mr. Crowe? You're looking ever so moist.
Horrible.
Dabbing with the doily.
More than usual, that is.
Oh yes, I've seen some strange things in my time being so close to the seas in Duskval, but whatever happens out in the ocean, I did not expect it to be this way. I'm about to go and report back to the butcher on what we've learned, hopefully to make sure that the crew don't all have to die horrific deaths. Perhaps we can convince him together.
Right, very good. I think it does sound better than going back into the room of horrors. Perhaps I'll accompany you. I think at this point, probably he started to have like this little tick of like really twizzling aggressively at his mustache. Just, yeah. That sounds pretty good.
So do we know Mikey's a vampire?
I think we've said like there's not anything yet that has cast it off, but I think there's depends on the knowledge really of the thing. I think if you knew vampires, you'd probably be able to tell. But I guess she's quite used. She's not deformed. There's no real sign. You've not seen her feast. She's been quite good at hiding it, but it's getting harder and harder. So I would say no. But at this moment, as Myre leaves the room, she does like leap to the arms and does start like feasting on the blood. Not like doing too much, but just to satiate that hunger. So it's a gruesome sight. If you were to walk in now, you'd probably know. But taking the moment of secrecy, she does.
So the guards,
lunge.
the two crewmen guards, butcher's
Oh, well,
guards are outside the door.
Yeah, but they're not really with the door closed, right? Myre closed the door behind him.
Do you want to do like a roll to see if you can
Yes,
do it sneakily?
I do want to roll to see if I can do it sneakily. That sounds great.
Roll to feast on the passed out man who's just got his bones protrude from his limbs.
Definitely.
But you told
Here's what I'm-
us. You told us what. You like read his mind and then told us.
Yes, but I mean that could be just Does that mean vampiric? Does it?
Oh
So-
yeah.
so-
Oh, yeah. Oh, that didn't actually occur to me that perhaps you did something a little supernatural there.
Yeah, but everyone's a ghost, aren't they, in this blooming world?
No.
Oh, they're like it doesn't mean a vampire. Yes, sure, definitely supernatural for sure. But there's ghost people and there's what are they called? The other people. There's the slides, not slide whispers.
Yeah, you could.
That's
Could
one.
whisper spell.
Yeah,
Farmers and farmers' mums of ghosts.
I think perhaps it seems like perhaps suspicions are being raised that there's something we don't know about you.
Oh, definitely.
But,
It's hard to hide. It's not like it's
I mean, Phinneas wouldn't know anything about vampires, so he probably wouldn't know specifically.
I'm gonna well, I'll roll a prowl then. If that seems to be the right thing to roll.
I think it'll be a risky standard.
Oh,
You
yes,
are a being of superhuman power, but
True.
feasting on a dude and
Yeah,
our two guards outside.
You can't really do it subtly. It's not like she gets like a little just a little straw and like it's not great.
I mean, how are you attempting to do it? I think that's the key point.
There's
of the
not. I mean,
decision effect.
this is a losing control, so it's pretty much a pretty classic vampire, just chow down kind of thing. It's not particularly.
You're like
what's the
chomping
word?
on him, or you like
No, yeah, the
kind
blood,
of thing?
exactly. From the,
You're not taking big old bites out.
No, not eating. Not fleshy. Just going.
I'm not
for
a monster.
Come on, guys. I've got some kind of decorum.
I'm a civilized vampire.
I'm civilized. Right. Here we go. I kind of feel like I should probably push myself because could kind of ruin everything. I'm gonna push myself on this one because otherwise don't want to give the game away this quickly to everyone. So I will give myself an extra dice.
It's gonna be interesting if you fail. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it might change the trajectory of. Hey, it's fine.
Okay, nice.
Unless you want to be a dick and say the consequences, they find out you're a vampire.
It's a risky one.
No, it's true, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know how you feel that.
Always resist the consequence.
I think as you kind of like gracefully glide across the room and kind of attach onto the neck of this, ex-feral being, crewman, you kind of latch onto his neck, and as your teeth sink in, and you can feel like the warm, gushing, metallic blood sinking into your mouth and going down into your belly, warming you up. I think you feel euphoric, probably. You feel empowered. This is your life essence. You feel on top of the world. You're loving it.
Yeah, maybe.
You maybe get lost in the moment as you're
Yeah,
kind of sucking his blood away.
Sounds right.
And as you kind of get your last gulp in, you close your eyes for a second, and you see yourself standing, like from the third person, like in a void sea, and your bones start protruding from your arms and your legs. And you take a stress.
Oh, that's fine. Stress is fine. Wait, so it's not actually happening. It's like it's more of a vision than you're saying.
Yeah, you're like you're picturing it in your mind.
I would love it if that was the case.
What's that?
Suck it up,
Yeah, you're
monkey.
dead.
It's like a disease. It could be like a disease or something.
What, you have a snack and go to the Shadow Realm.
Could be like a disease or something.
Yeah, this is actually like a old school D&D game where everything is deadly.
And everything's
I mean, it could be.
Could be.
Don't say that too early. We're already on the second duty. We've not even gone to the fucking Leviathan yet.
Yeah. So so yeah, we reached the butcher
Mm-hmm.
and we tell him about Bone Man, Drowning Man, and fishing for squids
Weirdly
man.
calm man.
Yeah. And say, mean anything to you?
I think.
I've
Go on.
sorry, I've noticed one flaw in that what's happened here is that there are two other witnesses to Tiet's vampiric feasting.
They're blindfolded, aren't they?
No, they were never blindfolded.
No?
They were gagged and bound, but not blindfolded.
And sleepy. And mad.
One's sleeping and one's. I think that's true. The one who was dreaming about swimming in the sea, he's sleeping, and the other one was very serene and calm, because he was having very pleasant dreams. So I think he's kind of like almost like, you know, Phinneas, you'd probably know, like when you've kind of dosed someone up fully with like trance power, like too much or slumber essence or one concussion of your drugs, he's probably just in like a really dumbed state of pure ecstasy.
So after
So
the kind of like
anything you're doing is lovely to him.
So after the ravenous
Or
feasting,
just
she
be
looks up.
distracted,
She looks up a bit, like realizing what she's done. Obviously, she's trying to resist doing this, but she then realizes there's two other people in the room. Does she get the sense that either of them kind of register this has happened? Does she feel like she needs to take action, or like you say, is one literally fast asleep, the other one couldn't be look like he's more
Yeah, the other
out
one
of it.
couldn't give a hoot. I think he maybe like smiles at you through the gag as he's watching you.
Maybe takes her hand off her blade and stays it for a moment.
Is that what happened when you ate the chocolate orange, Mikey?
Pretty much.
You looked up, not knowing
What
what
have
you're
I
doing.
done? What have I done?
You see your
Oh,
dogs
not the
as
whole-
witnesses.
The whole thing, mate. The whole thing.
It was a half left. It was a half left,
You had
The whole-
2 chocolate oranges.
but the whole half, yeah.
You monster.
So, all right, that's fine then. Good. All right, we've resolved the witnesses issue. Doesn't need to be taken any further.
Tiet,
Yeah.
the chocolate orange Cahn.
That's
Yeah.
it.
If needed, Myre would try and make sure that crew didn't. It's not in their interest to divulge what they'd seen.
Well, Myre doesn't
But-
know what's happened anyway, so it's
I
all,
know,
The
but
crew-
it's all pretty.
If yeah,
The-
if-
She would have
crew-
trusted in him, yeah.
The 2 crewmen standing outside didn't notice any of this.
yeah.
Good.
So what does Billy the Butcher say?
Butcher Nugs. He goes, Bobby, fetch me my notepad, fetch me my journal. and he, Bobby, stop making notes.
Did not expect this
Note
guy
down
to
what
be
the boys have told you.
Is he, yes, is he, I didn't know he was. I didn't expect him to be a journaler. His mindfulness journal.
What else is he gonna? How else is he gonna record valuable information?
Today I chopped up lots of meat. It was a
The
good
captain
day.
was very pleased. Look, he's not a simple man. I mean, he's not a dumb man. He likes, you know, classical music and the theatre. He's cultured.
Yeah.
You don't know what he does,
Thing
you
for
know, on
classical
his
music.
weekends. Yeah. So, what kind of do you just kind of say everything that you witness, or do you kind of like draw any threads from it, or highlight any key information there?
One thing I think that Phinneas would leave out is that he would not divulge that he ended up having a vision himself.
Yeah, wise.
He He would say that the man spoke of this darkness and the stars and these voices. He certainly wouldn't say that he experienced it.
And I don't suppose then that Tiet even when Phinneas went on about his vision as well. Did we assume as much, or did what he just kind of almost looked like he had a dodgy stomach? Like, do you know what I mean, was it what was the?
It's a good question, Phineas. What did you did you show anything? Or maybe you stormed off, so maybe you were quite taken aback after.
Oh, he was certainly shaken by it. Yeah. So I think it would be obvious that he was in distress, and probably muttering something about "got to go and clear me head."
I mean, so yeah.
Perhaps this might even be news to Mr. Crowe at the time.
I think with Tiet having her own vision, might piece two and two together, but she's not part of that conversation yet. So they haven't got the full info yet, I suppose.
I'd quite like to do a study roll.
Beat me to it, didn't ya?
What would you like to study?
One of the things is gain a deeper understanding, or gather information, and apply knowledge. So, I'm doing the role-playing thing of getting my character to roll to be smarter than me, basically. Like, would Myre be able to solve like the connection, work out a connection between these things?
Okay. Yeah, I'm willing to allow that. I'll allow it. I'll let it play.
We could say, Phineas, if we're like walking and talking down the corridor towards the butcher, trying to like, as I tell you what's happened since you left, and we can.
I'd say Phinneas would be assisting, trying to piece the bits together. Yes.
Before you roll, has Tiet like rejoined the party at this point, or are you still like in the interrogation room?
Yeah, no, she's on there. She's got it's not yet. She will, but she's still got to clean up, disguise her feasting. But
cool.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe in 5 minutes or so.
Okay, so Myre's gonna try a study roll to see if he can piece together the information they've collected from the three lads in the little impromptu interrogation room.
Yeah. Controlled standard.
Controlled standard seems fair.
It's a success.
A success without consequence.
It's a success.
Cool.
A success.
Very nice.
I don't know why I've been saying that for the last year.
Unbelievable. I got
very witty, very sharp, very quick.
Oh,
yes, sir. Very witty. Very witty come up there, sir. Yes, sir. Where's Perkins come from?
He's always
Fuck off, Perkins.
Yeah. So
cast you into the void sea.
Myre at least has and Phinneas have both come up with some sort of connection between the clues.
Yeah, so I think between the two of you and your times on your kind of like training vessel before this, and your tutelage there, maybe you learnt something about the specific Leviathans. Maybe you kind of read up and studied them, and kind of a few common traits that they share is that they're Leviathans have kind of different like features to them, and many of their features are shared amongst their spawn, and that will kind of allude you to what Leviathan you're tracking, and that, as I said before, they can influence humans' lesser minds in the vicinity via nightmares and dreams, and that kind of thing can tell you a thing or two. So I think you can piece together that the squid dream, the guy dreaming of the squid, obviously kind of alluding to the fact that the Leviathan spawn are squid-like. you're hunting a squid-like Leviathan spawn. It's very likely. And the bones protruding from the bloke's arms in the end would allude to the Leviathan having protruding bones of its own as one of its features. Along with that, the swing in the Void Sea. I think you can allude to
swings in the Void Sea.
Yeah, I think that doesn't. It's a bit of a red herring. I think that.
It's in the
like
sea, is it?
LCD.
The bones
It's
mean
not
it has
like
bones. The squids mean it's a squid. And the swimming man means it likes Mozart.
Yeah. He likes theatre too. Yeah.
What does it mean?
Yeah. What? The swimming in the Void Sea?
Yes.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Well, maybe it's just that. Maybe it doesn't have to mean anything. Maybe it's just
I think it was just
a generic
a
Leviathan
manifestation.
dream.
Yeah. I think
not all of these nightmares will be information from the Leviathan, right? Some of them will just be horrible experiences.
Yeah, that's exactly as the butcher said. You know, it's generally madness and insanity, and it doesn't really go anywhere. But
Or this guy just has a fear of drowning.
and then starts actually choking and coughing up water.
Yeah.
Poor choice of adventure for that guy. I mean, no one loves drowning, but like you're very, very anti-drowning. Shit adventures.
Yeah. It's like, I'm scared of heights, I'm gonna go mountaineering. But yeah, I think do you just what do you say to Nogs with its revelation?
Noggy. Yeah, I guess I say well, the information that we've gathered feels a bit like if I remember back to my sort of Leviathan identification training, some sort of squid-like Leviathan with bony protrusions. I don't know if you're familiar with such a creature, Mr. Butcher.
He raises his butcher's knife.
Boo.
And the bone, the teethy bone that it's made from, bears a resemblance to the bone from that Leviathan that you would have studied. He goes, "Yes, mate, I'm very familiar with the beast myself."
And what is it called?
Well, we can't be sure yet. There's a few with the common traits like that. As we get closer, find a few bit more grains of evidence, I'm sure we can narrow it down to which one it is exactly. I've got my suspicions though.
They've got cool names like the kaiju. Bonehead.
Yes. Yeah. Well, not like that. Not like real steel. Bonehead. No, it's not. It's a bit more fantasy than that. But yeah, he's fairly impressed with the information you gathered, thinking that none of it would have been useful. And I see you've lost one of your companions. Is it? Where's that little miss run off to?
At this point, I think she enters the space they're in, or returns at least to them. And,
have you cleaned yourself, or you
yeah.
dripping
No,
down?
no. Prior to this is all you couldn't even tell. Wouldn't even know. She has like a nice little bib, so she can use that and then take that off and just put it back in her pocket. It's all very always a pack of wet wipes on there. You see, ready for
some anti-bag.
ready for any event. Exactly. Yeah. No.
Anti-bag.
She kind of enters. I think she kind of knows what the conversation's been, but kind of reaffirms everything they're saying with kind of her experience as well. Kind of just, yeah, helps bolster what they've been saying, really.
And you yourself you visioned yourself, your own bones protruding.
Hmm.
Did you mention that?
Yeah, she's not super keen to kind of mention that particularly. Like it's a bit disturbing. She doesn't want to seem
Yes.
weak.
At what point did you start having these visions?
No,
Was it when you were drinking their blood?
no, no, don't be silly. But yeah,
Brilliant.
so yeah.
Nice. Well, good job indeed. And what have you done with the gentleman, the deranged gentleman?
He's resting now. Whether or not he'll be of any use to the crew once he rises is your decision to make. But he's in a bit of a state.
The other two were mostly compliant. I'm sure they'll be back to working strength very soon.
Very well. So you didn't see fit to throw him overboard?
No, not at this stage.
It was touch and go, but
my tanks are pretty empty at the moment.
Thanks for what?
fine,
He's
bud.
got his tanks where he stores all the viscera.
We'd better catch ourselves a Leviathan then, hadn't we, Master Butcher?
Indeed. Indeed. I think of that, you've done your duty. You've executed it fairly well. You've experienced some shit you've not experienced before. And you kind of make your way back to the quarters. So, we can do a little bit of like free time, not necessarily free time, but free chat, like RP chat, if you want to discuss what's like just gone on, share what you've experienced, kind of thing. Or we can just
Did the butcher again? Tiet's very keen on ingratiating herself to the butcher. Did they have a conversation about joining the crew as a? What was that? I made notes. What do you want to be? She wants to be a. Well, it's just being part of the butchery, isn't it?
be part of the
she's working
butcher
for
team.
Master. Yeah.
Um,
Did they impress the butcher?
Yeah, definitely impressed the butcher because he drew evidence that might help you in identifying which Leviathan it is. Trying to think, because usually your crew would just kind of do duties as and when they're needed. Like specifically, stuff comes up as emergencies, and you're kind of responding to that as a crew.
Freelance. Best thing for a kid your age.
But
Job.
I'm trying to work out in my head if there's a way of giving to it kind of little special role.
Well, it says the Master Butcher has an assigned team, so you know.
You can always say that's like after the one shot, like they get their role on as in the kitchens.
Mm.
Or perhaps some additional rewards on the ship. You know, perhaps some better rations, or whatever would be the sort of reward they could dole out as well.
Yeah, so you want to join his like employee, specifically working with him more. So let's say
Yes.
in the time between duties, that's kind of what you do. I don't know what the rest of the crew does, but I said before you kind of like just doing, various duties, like minor duties across the ship to kind of keep it going. Let's say, yes, Miss Cahn, I believe you'll be of much use to me and my team. I feel your skills are most adequate. There's going to be a lot of meat in these here halls that needs chopping. And should any mutiny happen, I can trust in your skills to quell it.
If there's two things I excel at, it's working with viscera and meat and quelling riots.
Brilliant.
You are a fucking carp.
I just want to drink the Leviathan blood. Leave me alone.
Are you a narc?
Drink the Leviathan blood. Fuck it up.
That's the plan. Don't know what's going to happen yet, but
That's your plan.
Find out.
You had horrible visions of yourself having your bones protrude from drinking the blood of a guy who's had dreams, Leviathan dreams, and you want to drink the Leviathan oil, the Leviathan blood.
It's either that or people.
To ascend.
That's what it's down to.
Ascend to demonhood.
Yeah, I think this is how you become a demon, right? I think you're gonna become like a crab lady, like a squid lady.
Calypso.
Oh god, we've already got a squid face. We don't need another one.
So yeah, I think
you end up marrying Squidface.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think Butcher Noggs assigns you a spot amongst his team, and amongst the days in between your more serious duties, you're just working away with him and kind of gaining his trust further and further, aiming to have some seclusion in the butcher room where you can kind of feast.
That's kind of it.
I think that's very fair.
The tanks are pretty empty, so we need to actually catch some.
Do any of you, Myre, Crowe, or Phinneas, do either of you guys do anything in the days between duties? So it's like roughly 3 days between major duty.
Yes. I think Phinneas would be spending his time on I guess low-key duties, which I'm sure there are as well, and in between duties, basically just working his way around the whole ship, trying to figure out who's on it, who does what, and sort of gets to know the lay of the land in people. So he's going to know who could be called on, or who could be thrown under a bus or whatever. Just so he really understands the sort of the social hierarchy of the whole ship. Maybe he can't map that out in a couple of days, but he's going to be trying to build that picture in that time. I don't know if you have any information on that to hand. If you don't, that's fine, but we just assume that he has some.
What's that specifically?
Who are the groups on the ship? What are they responsible for? Are there any really notable characters? Not that I'm asking for all this information in one go, but perhaps you could get some of it.
Let me see. Let me just have a little gander, sorry. But as I said in the intro last time, there's plenty of little cliques, little gangs from ashore, maybe, that have kind of working on the boat as well. So there's lots of little groups, little cabals or whatever, kind of working together. I think you'd know that one gang from ashore is definitely on the boat, and you've kind of worked this out because they have quite the name in Dustfall, and there's a small group of them aboard the She Who Dances on the Stars, and that is the Red Sashes.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, we might like them now. They might be on our side now. But forget everything you know.
Yeah.
Forget your prejudice and bias.
The leader's definitely not Antonio Banderas. But also,
not been torn to pieces by a hull with swords for hands.
Nope, definitely not.
But also, smuggled aboard the ship. Maybe you kind of put your as you're kind of conversing with some of the other crew in the common room, the pub in the lower decks. You hear an old friend talking behind you, and you kind of turn around, and Salia, the information broker that you know is aboard the ship in the kind of common quarters. So she's there as well.
Is that your friend on your sheet?
It is.
Yes.
No, I didn't select one.
Yes, I should
Amazing.
certainly add some information to that. But
I saw.
good to know that the information hunt has found a source of even more information. Yeah, good. Nice one to pick up. All right.
I saw you add it to your sheet last session, so I thought I'll throw that in the mix.
I feel like
What a good DM.
perhaps they don't go out of their way to acknowledge each other excessively, because they would know that it's best that people don't really know they have a connection. But
Yeah.
they know that each other is there, and that's good information in itself.
I think you get the gist that she's. If you were to check the ship's kind of register as everybody was boarding, if you had any access to that, which you don't, but you'd know that she's not even meant to be on the ship. She's somehow snuck aboard. So there you go.
Interesting. All right, cool.
So maybe a little
Get
nod.
snuck.
Yes, get smuggled on board. Who did the smuggling?
So what's that little boat putting along behind us?
Just attached by a little rope. Really, you've been tugged out to sea. Now what?
Yeah. Yes, Saffron. You have all these horrible nightmares, which is literally nothing worse than you've had before, so you're fine.
Just another day being
Myre Crowe is going to spend the time working with Wesley Snipes,
Wester Sly.
Wester McVeigh, Minister of Common Sense, and I think learning as best he can his trade of being a steward, whilst also trying to low-key find out ways how he can replace him at some eventually. So
Okay.
trying to find out if Wester has any kind of weaknesses that he can exploit.
Okay.
A drinking problem or something.
Yeah. Should we start a little clock for that, as if it was like a downtime activity?
Yeah.
So that might be something that you can work on in between duties, and then use it to your advantage later on, when the time is appropriate, or when you choose to dispose of the bastard.
Not dispose. He could be my
Bitch.
my sort of partner, but I would be in charge.
Oh yes, like every partnership, one's always in charge.
Yeah.
Mm.
Go back to bed, Wester. I'll be able to deal with this. Cool. So I'll
You can start gaslighting Wester.
yeah. So what's the
Literally.
How
You
many-
smell that Leviathan oil, Wester.
how many
What?
how many segments are in this clock?
I think 4.
Okay, so I could do it if I get a crit on my
Go.
2 dice.
Yes.
Very confident.
Would
Look at this.
Would
Take it easy,
Myre have any interest in trying to work with Phinneas on this objective, or would he keep it to himself?
On
his objective of supplanting the.
well,
Because Phinneas is he may know Phinneas is a person who could help him, but I don't know if he would want to share that.
it depends if I knew you would approve of the goal or not. I don't know if we know each other that well enough yet.
I think probably. So we've had some downtime together, right? Probably you wouldn't have seen quite into Phinneas's soul yet, but I think I don't think Phinneas as a character hides that he likes to put the pieces together rather than do the dirty work of things himself. Like he sees himself as moving the pieces around the board a little bit. But yeah, perhaps not more than that. So Myre, I guess, would do with that sort of level of information what is all fit.
Yeah, or maybe as part of this, maybe I see you consorting about something that Myre is not very capable of doing. So maybe asks if you've learnt anything about Wester from anyone. Any goss? Any tea? Maybe that's enough for a assist or a bonus die or something.
I feel like surely for sort of building the case.
Yeah.
Weirdly, surprisingly complimentary characters.
What do you reckon, Loza?
You work together to, is it blackmail West or find leverage on him?
Yeah, I think it's just finding the leverage.
Yeah, because Phinneas is generally just trying to find out anything of use anyway, consorting, cavorting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah. You can definitely work together on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure, and you know those sort of classic kind of bookish types. I'm sure there's people who've got loads of shit to say about him.
As a spider, you have your fingers in many pies, so to say.
Yeah. I like to think even that Phinneas has had the foresight to try and gather this information on those people who are senior in the crew anyway. So when Myre asks him, he already has something handy.
Well, it's 5. Staying alive.
Red sky at night, shepherd's delight.
Okay. So,
In terms of a progress clock for like a downtime activity, what does the success with the consequence mean? Is it just like 1 tick or 2 ticks?
So
a crit is like 3, isn't it?
So a failure is still 1. Success with a consequence is 2.
Okay.
Success is 3, and a crit is 5 on clocks.
Yeah, cool. So you've done 2 out of 4 there.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah. So maybe I've got the dirt, but I need an opportunity to actually. Maybe I don't feel ready to actually like supplant him as a steward just yet. I'd be seeing as it's only been like 3 days.
It's 4 or 5 at the moment. Do you have an idea of what you want this information to be as of yet? I'm open to you helping with that.
I think there's some sort of vice that we discover. Perhaps Phinneas gives me the rumor, and then I make it find out if it's substantial or not by talking to him slyly whilst we're working. And I think maybe I know that I can use this to kind of gaslight him into thinking that he can't do his job well enough, and that he should be reliant on me to do it.
So I do actually have a vice of his.
Oh yeah.
Already. So we said 2 out of 4 on the clock. You learn of the secret, but you're not allowed to use it until you complete the clock. Is that what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to figure out the secret when you complete it?
No, I think I'll say I found out the secret, but yeah, I'm not, because my goal is to like become as good a steward as he is, and that's obviously not. That's going to take some time.
Yeah.
More downtimes.
So you're going to use him as a mentor only to replace him. See, the apprentice becomes the master. The rule of 2 even applies to head stewards.
Got to stay humble.
So you'd know that Wester Sly, yes, indubitably, is obsessive. He enjoys wines so much, he's actually become obsessive over them. And it's not just any wine, it's spirit wine.
He had his spooky wine in the cupboard, didn't he?
Yes, and that is
spirit wine.
So that's, a classy vintage, but imbued with the spirit, imbued with the soul of a person. And he will drink that.
Oof.
And this is very, very, nobody knows. Nobody, like, even if you saw the bottle, you'd be like, oh, that's just a spirit in a bottle, you know? Like, officers would have them about just as like, look how rich I am. I've got a soul in my bottle over here on my shelf. Maybe they just think like, even in Duskfall you have lights that kind of produce a light, so they're bioluminescent kind of. So maybe they think this is a similar thing. It's basically just someone that's very rich will have this. But that it's actually he's obsessed about drinking people's souls, which is kind of fucked up. And
Quite a vice.
yeah, and he'd probably quite a lot of the crew, especially the master augur of the ship, who's very, traditionalistic Taikarosi kind of shaman vibes, would fucking hate this. And she's quite a violent woman. So if the secret did get out, he wouldn't last long.
Well, I think this is actually solidified some level of antagonism between Wester and, well, certainly towards Wester, Sly from Myre Crowe, because something that he holds dear on within his possessions is a spirit bottle which contains the spirit of his mother, and the thought of her being drunk by this sort of superior, up to nose aristocratic wannabe, joke of a person is abhorrent. So
how dare you? That's my NPC.
I shoot him in the head.
You can't believe you're shitting all over the DM's NPCs, Ollie. It's ridiculous.
Well, I read a book on being a player, and that's what it said on the first page, and then that was the end of the book.
Was it written by M. Power by any chance?
It's murder hobo all the time. Big murder's the best.
I didn't murder that guy. I could have killed them both in the room.
That's the NPC manifesto.
No, there are some NPCs that players want to keep around, and it's usually the Perkinsy types who are completely non-threatening. Never going to upstage by Perkins.
Yes,
we liked Arvis.
Yeah.
You didn't kill him, but I wouldn't say anyone was fond of him, really.
I like that lost.
No one wanted to interact with him.
Ireland. Oh no, Cortland.
Cortland, yeah.
Cortland.
Yeah.
Not Ireland. I liked him. He was a cousin. He was a Finchetti cousin.
Yeah.
He's got my love already. Yeah, lovely. So you have this information, but you're choosing to play it cool and learn what you can from the Master Steward, the head steward, even before playing your cards, so to say.
Yeah, I'm probably like laying the seeds now. When he tells me about it, maybe I get him drunk, and he's like, my special bottle. Oh no, you can't have any of this, young man. And I get him to, and I'll sort of stroke his ego to get him to talk more about it. And maybe he says something like maybe the captain is also would be disgusted.
I think you kind of are stroking his ego, and he kind of gets to the point where he's, maybe you're drinking wine, both you in his office or whatever, and he kind of, he feels like indulging his passions to you, and he tells you about this special bottle glowing behind him, and he's like, he takes it out and isn't even looking at it, like adoring it, like a newborn baby. He's just looking longingly at it. He's like, oh yes, this is my finest vintage. I've had her for years. Yeah. And he tells you a bit about it and who the person was as well. And I think it might have been one of his exes, if you believe it or not.
Mine's just like full on. Oh yes, oh very nice, Master Sly. Oh, that sounds lovely. Just inside, just being like, you're disgusting. Sounds like Tiet Cahn on the inside.
Wait,
I can't believe West at the gross you know, snobby arsehole is being grossed. Oh, he's in the company of a grosser man. You know,
I'm not that.
with your
But
wet hands. Well, it's hard to say who's
drinking
grosser, to be
people's
fair.
souls is the worst than having
Yes,
sort of
Crowe's very
perspiration.
unpleasant, but hasn't yet given us any information to say that he's just awful.
Yeah, true. True. I mean, I thought it was a bit more than perspiration. You said it was like shaking a wet fish in the dark.
It's like holding a wet fish in the dark.
Ugh.
It's because it's cold and clammy. It's not. It's not constantly dripping with water.
I've been picturing him just dripping. Very moist.
You're clearly too uncouth to get one of Dickens's greatest similes.
Yeah, clearly.
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 What? It's got fish for hands.
I
You
mean,
are.
in Leviathan's song, it wouldn't be surprising. I imagine you probably have already seen a crewman with, like, you know, a fucking, you know,
people with my fish hands.
minnow for a finger or whatever.
It's going to be great if the nastiness of this Leviathan job has you manifesting your metaphors.
That's true. Little white bait fingers.
Tuna teeth. Tasty.
Even a teeth.
We will, won't we? If we stay on the voyage just long enough, we'll get mutations.
Yeah. Who says you don't already?
Oh.
I've already dreamed of bone arms.
Command you, Baldric, never to open your trousers. Nothing of interest lies therein.
So, as the days draw on, you do, as we've discussed, and funnily enough, the weather does take a turn for the worse. You've thus far been sailing through steady and fair seas, and now it's turned to stormy seas.
Stormy seas.
So the waves are kind of like out, you know, probably 3 sizes as tall as the vessel itself.
Jesus.
The boat's kind of like going up and down and up and down. It's very, very sickly and horrible. And all you see, you can't even tell what's water and what's not, as apart from the crashing waves, as there's like the huge colossal waves of blackness, pitch blackness, matched with the black sky at night. And it's always night out in the void sea. Maybe you even see, as the waves are coming up of the ship, spirits coming out of the waves and then clashing with the electric barriers from the top of the ship. And they're kind of sparking off as if it was thunder. But it's not thunder, it's just the souls being evaporated by your ship.
A bit like a mosquito in a zapper.
Exactly.
It sounds a little scary out here at sea, you know.
Yeah, I'm just in the steward's office still.
Chicken your wine.
All the candles like sliding up and down the desk.
Is the sea kind of calm? Is the sea calm? Is it? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of ghosts, but is the actual sea calm? Is it?
No, the sea is horribly violent.
Oh shit! Sorry. Okay, well that's sorry. I thought it was one thing. Well, that definitely affects.
The waves in the sea are 3 times the.
But it's the sea calm.
The size of the ship.
Are they calm big waves? We're calmly ascending and
Steady.
descending.
The boat could be, have like, it's got suspension on it, so it just kind of, feels like it's not a flat plane.
He didn't specify. He just said the waves.
Exactly. No, it's obviously but Tiet is he, despite being in the body of an ex-captain, sea captain, is mortified of the scene because of a drowning incident. So she's not super happy with this current situation.
I mean, this is the state-of-the-art Leviathan hunting vessel.
Sure. But it's their first time on it, so they don't necessarily have all the confidence. So yeah, it's certainly a challenge.
I think some of the crew see you're like, in a bit of distress. And they're like, "It's all right, love. Not like we're gonna drown or nothing."
They go overboard.
You will.
I use my feat of strength, and they just go. Just comically
Yeah,
flies past camera.
That happens. You murder some of the crew.
Oh, sweet.
They're dead. And as they go overboard, their spirits are raised from the depths, just to get evaporated by the lightning barriers on the ship.
It's just a big, it's a nice big circle.
It was just a joke, love.
Just a joke. Why don't you smile more?
We're a sketch comedy group. Yeah, lovely stuff. So, as it's a very stormy sea, the supplies are being used. Oh no, sorry, the fuel's being kind of used at a faster pace to kind of like power through the waves, the feisty waves. So that is 3 boxes of fuel.
Oh god.
Do we affect that at all, or
Nah.
no? It's just more like a mark of progress.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Should the fuel run out, the ship does have sails, as well. So it's not the end of the day. It's just going to make things a bit harder.
But we can't affect it.
Maybe if you choose to do so in between duties and that kind of thing. If you want to try and help out where you can, you can even.
We killed some of the crew during the storm, so I imagine that's made it worse.
No, less crew, so the boat's lighter, so less fuel.
Actually, yeah. So that the crew will be having less supply usage.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Great, basically Thanos, mate.
It's a Frostpunk decision.
Thanos. Tiet Thanos Cahn.
Perfectly balanced.
Thanos Cahn.
Less people who I hate.
Yeah.
Perfectly balanced.
Like half a chocolate and orange should be.
It's perfectly balanced. It's just her left. Perfectly balanced. Everyone else is dead. It's great.
And the guy who can chop up the meat for me.
Oh yes, of course, yes. And the monkey. She's growing some affinity for the monkey.
The monkey's the only one you can't suck the blood from.
Well, exactly. It's a helpful companion. Actually, it works quite well.
Keeps
No
you
temptation.
on the straight and narrow.
That's an ape, sir.
That's an ape, sir.
That's an ape, sir. The monkey on your back. Yeah, and I'll tick off supply usage because time has passed. So yeah. I would start the next duty, but as we have 10 minutes, I think I'll leave it to next time.
Always introduce it.
Oh yeah, run us through.
We can have a think for next time.
Okay. Yes, sirs. Me again. I've come to assign you your next duty. It's very important, I must say. Very important, sirs. Very important indeed. I hope you're not too busy at this time.
No, but you also said that about the last one as well, Mr. Percy.
Well, I can assure you, every duty that the officers have for you is very important, very important. I think you'll be very misplaced if you don't help them at once. It is a running theme at this point. But you know what? We're rolling with it.
Yeah.
That's why Perkins is here.
Yeah. It's also like Apprentice vibes as well.
Oh, definitely.
Getting the call at 4 a.m.
I can't remember. I was going to do Imperial March.
I was going to do Game of Thrones. It's definitely not in my head. Bum, 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 bum. That's the one.
That's quite fitting for a Leviathan vessel, actually.
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
I can imagine a sort of spooky Victorian version of that.
Yeah. If you can't
Oh,
hack
the
it,
hunt.
if you can't hack it on this ship, then you're out.
Bone spiking out your arms.
Oh shit!
I only want the best, probably wankiest people who can go on a vessel.
I use an Alan Sugar quote very regularly in my parenting. Because there's a very it's from the Cassette Boy remix. And I've ever seen it. It's very funny because he goes, his line is basically no, not no, yes, and that's very much a phrase I use with my kids a lot. No, it's not no, it's yes. So
I can see the value in that one.
in a way, Alan Sugar is maybe a better parent. So
So
what can I say?
when their therapist says to them,
Yeah.
by the way, do you know that's from a series called The Apprentice?
Yeah, most of my parenting stuff is from some kind of pop culture, so they're gonna be rumbled at some point.
Yeah.
So the ship's quartermaster is definitely Alan Sugar now.
Yeah, I think so.
Canon.
Alan Boy
Yeah.
Sugar. So yeah, you're taken through this iron maze of corridors, drawing out forever almost.
Are we out of the
And
storm
eventually,
as well?
yeah. Let me roll. A fortune die. No, you're not.
6 is good.
It was it was 1 to 2 for clear, 3 to 4 for like a misty, and then 5 to 6 for stormy. So yeah, still pretty hectic. It's pretty gnarly. So you come to Wesley Sly's office. As you're kind of making your way through, the lanterns overhead swinging, violently, and you're maybe having to grab onto the railings to keep yourself moving forward. And you enter Wesley Sly's office. Perkins introduces you once more, and Wester is kind of writing away fervently. He looks up briefly. He's like, "Oh yes, Mr. Crowe. Yes, I requested you at once. I need your help with something. Please enter."
Very well, very well. I'm at your service as always, Master Sly.
You and your companions, of course. You'll need a few of this. The gist of it is once again, too much in my day. I can't do everything myself, and my other stewards have gone amok. Don't know where they are. I wish you to the officers' deck. You see, need some attention. Their quarters need cleaning. Their quarters need cleaning. Their clothes need polishing, or cleaning, and their gear needs polishing, and their chamber pots emptying. I need you to get to this right away. Very important indeed. Something I would love to do, but I've just not had the time to, unfortunately.
It's a fun game.
So our big task here is cleaning the chambers.
Yeah.
Can we just
And
refuse?
on that bombshell.
Can we just do a group action and then just
We just do group prowl.
yeah, group prowl. We sneak up on it.
Yeah. Clean.
Yeah.
Get the Dettol out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Wester Sly. Come on, you should expect this by now.
I thought steward was like admin and clerk, bookwork and stuff.
Yes. It's also all the duties of maintaining the cleaning and all that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not going to waste any role playing on that. I'm telling you now.
Perhaps there will be more to it than we know.
Yes,
he said
that's my
optimistically.
feeling.
Yes, come on, player. You know I'm going to make it juicy.
All right.
Oh dear.
Bones protruding from the chamber pot.
It doesn't have to be a long one either. I think I'm planning to have it a bit shorter. anyhow. But there's stuff to be learned.
Oh, do we get
Stuff
to go? We get to go in all the officers' rooms. That's quite interesting.
That's fun,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, read some journals.
Exactly.
Read the butcher's journal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe a little pilfering.
Ooh,
See?
We don't have a master
See?
for this, but
sounds good.
You poo-poo the cleaning mission, but
You
actually
poo-poo the poo deck.
But I came back to the yes and.
the cleaning of the chamber pots, polishing of the gear, and the cleaning of the clothes.
We'll get the monkey to do it. Should be back by then.
Yes.
And we'll do the we'll
Welcome back.
snoop about.
Indeed. Excellent. I did have some of that fleshed out, but with what's happened this session, I'm going to have to go away and come up with some more details for that one.
Good.
Because as they do, players always mess with your plans.
I know, right? We're the worst.
That's why games like Blades, you don't make plans.
Well, I had like one plan. Had a very brief plan.
One
This
plan.
Yeah,
time.
that was your first mistake.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's either no plans or 10 plans, and no in between.
I tell you what, though, I'm glad I did put these. I just did like 1 or 2 sentences for like each duty of like detail for each one. I'm glad I did because I included some obstacles that you might have to face, and with that, the school where you're in the duty where you're interrogating those guys, you actually avoided some of the obstacles I put in place, which is quite well done.
You're welcome.
It could have got a lot nastier, I tell you that.
We are pretty
Also,
Also,
did
it's
well.
almost dissatisfying, isn't it? You know, the players have done a good job of avoiding the problems, but then you're like,
I really want
was-
this problem to happen.
I was really looking forward to that one as well.
Well, usually
I'm
for
sure
the,
Ollie can relate.
for scores, obstacles are the things that are like one of the only things that the GM can throw into the scene. So it's like, this thing happens, how do you deal with it, kind of thing.
Well, I guess that was the obstacle. I thought what I'm saying is the consequence of one of those obstacles that I'd kind of like thought about, and that was going to be quite funny. Well, not funny, but cool. Well, not cool, but creepy. Sorry. It was that whole scene was nothing but creepy, I think.
Yeah.
But
It
you
was
know,
very creepy.
you did some entertaining last time. You were like, this ain't scary. This ain't creepy or scary. This is a walk in the park. But that's a taste of what's to come
Nice.
next
What?
time.
Next time on Leviathan Hunters.
This might end up stretching out to be a full-parter.
I was gonna say, do you think you'll finish it next time?
We haven't even seen a bloody Leviathan yet.
It's. I think what I might do is
That's the end shot.
reduce.
That's the climax, isn't it, of the
Sure,
voyage.
that's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Staring into the eye of the Leviathan and his bony face.
Yeah, I think
Holy
that'd
face.
be a good spot to actually end it on, because in the supplement it says you have to go and drop the oil off or the viscera off the refining area and then sail all the way back to Duskfall, and then you finish. But I think that's a bit of a lame finish, because
So.
Yeah.
that just continues the duties again. So I think actually that's a good shout, finishing on the hunt.
I think if
and
you
then
have
I could
like a very busy, dynamic, complex, like basically the crew, the boat is like a like what was the word I'm looking for? Like a territory. If it was a bit like that, if it was almost a battle for survival together, then maybe. But in a
It's a little bit with
slightly
all fuel and
simpler setup than-
fuel and supplies, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Well, that's what it's there for, right? So there's actually a thing where if you do run out of supplies or you're running short on supplies, then that is one of the duties of like you go and you have to go ashore wherever you're near and actually find the supplies or buy supplies from the locals there.
That's cool.
So there's a bit more like that kind of thing playing into it. There's really little information on that, so I'll have to go away and think of that up and how to play that out. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do that. You can hand wave that for a one shot, can't you?
Yeah, I think
Vikings.
the
more
whole
interesting.
supplement feeds into having this as a campaign. We're doing multiple kind of voyages, but I think for a one shot, definitely we can like kind of end it on the hunt when the hunt's done, and then I can kind of just describe us going back and whatnot. And maybe a
supposed
little tiny epilogue or whatever.
Yeah, it's supposed to be for like Duskfall crews. They can do it for a little bit, can't they? They can do like a stint.
Mm.
Yeah. There's also somebody's made a supplement for Deathlands as well now.
Oh, sick.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning to do that like little downtime, by the way, but I think that played out quite well as well.
Yeah, I like the little. It's
The
also quite nice to
in-between.
have. You can have downtimes in like quite quickly, can't you? So you can do
Yes, exactly. It's not-
Yeah.
long-term
And I didn't-
projects quite quick.
I didn't think about actually like playing through the time between duties, but I think that's actually quite a nice thing, because then you get like a bit of a break and a bit of like more free play kind of thing.
Yeah, you work on
You
your
can
own
explore the other
your own
stuff.
little goals. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe we'll do some, indulging in vices or whatever when we need to later on.
Nice. Yeah.
But
I did complete my goals, by the way.
yeah,
Nice.
go on.
My extra homework.
Do you reveal them now?
Yeah, I expressed my beliefs about staying humble to get ahead,
Sure.
as my father taught me.
Nice.
I also was gonna, because that guy said about him remembering being fishing for squids,
Mm.
and I was going to talk to him because Myre's father was from Scotland. He was like a first-generation immigrant who was a fisherman.
Oh.
Who like became a wagon driver. So
Nice.
it's kind of that.
And you were telling Mikey you don't have backstory with your characters.
Yeah,
a-
it's almost like people just make up shit to try and get me, you know?
It's a belief, not a backstory.
No tornadoes, thank you.
You just described what his father did as a fucking child. That's an old backstory.
Yeah, that's my heritage. That was also on the playbook. Next.
Heritage, my ass.
Yeah, I also did. I don't know if you guys saw that thing I shared, where it was like the different. I'll get past all the pirates chat. The my character would never thing.
Oh yeah.
So I found that quite interesting because I realised I was playing a character who was obviously probably quite selfish and cowardly. So I picked a few of those to be like, I'll actually be more sympathetic towards people who I see as similar background to myself, like proper working class people. So that the crew being thrown overboard for having nightmares that didn't really sit well with Myre Crowe.
Yeah.
Didn't do it.
Whereas the officers, they're fair game for sort of supplanting
And you played into the fact that he's never been, privy to a murder before, so it doesn't that whole that doesn't sit well with them either.
Because I'm not a D&D player, so character, so I'm not a murderer.
But I guess as well at the same point, your mother's a spirit, so you got first hand. She's obviously passed, and you're haunted by her
That's
spirit.
true.
So you got first hand.
Maybe next session we'll learn how that happened as well.
Or that to do with your moist hands, perhaps. Strangled by the wet fish hands.
Yeah, that's actually how they turned into fish, actually.
Maybe you're the Leviathan, after all.
She was actually a fish all along. And I'm half fish. Yeah, maybe I'm like in D&D how you have the dragons, the NPCs, they're actually a dragon in disguise. Maybe I'm the Leviathan, yeah.
Maybe.
Confirmed, that's canon.
Yeah.
Canon.
That is Kanuna.
Yeah.
Kanuna.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
players. Being great players. Again,
Cheers, lad.
the session's
Cheers,
gone
Lawrie.
Thanks. Good
much
session.
better
What
than
we
I thought it would.
Yes.
Well, I've got you to thank as well.
It's fun. It's Jake's.
So I appreciate that. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, baby.
Thanks for joining.
Pleasure. Good DMing. Great DMing.
Thank you.
Let's get
Nice.
that
Cheers,
big
Lawrie.
fish.
See you
Peace out,
next time.
nerds.
Bye
Tell your
bye.
pals.